Cricut Mini, and that's important to make sure that we can accurately connect the Mini to the computer and that it works together, because the Mini on its own will not do anything. There's no buttons, it's literally got on, off and mat in and out, so you can't do anything with the machine itself. So if you don't have a computer or a Gypsy, because the Mini is now compatible with the Gypsy, then this is not the machine for you. So the first thing we have to do, as I say, is set up. So the obvious thing is to go straight to the welcome pack, and we're going to get to the first leaflet. It's a bit of a clue because it's numbered number 1, and it starts off by saying, you know, getting started, and it lists all the contents. Now I went through that in a previous video, so just take a look back at that if you want to. So then the next thing it talks about is putting the blade into the blade housing. So it runs through it step by step for you. So we're going to do that now. So obviously first of all lift our lid, and we're just going to move the blade housing across a little bit. And you can just use a bit of pressure and it will move across no problem. It's not going to damage it by doing that. Okay, so it comes packaged with, well mine did anyway, and I'm sure a lot of them come packaged with some sort of packaging in there to protect it. And this is the blade housing, and it holds, this is our blade. On the Cricut Mini it's green. Okay, so let's just unwrap our blade, which could be interesting. They always tend to wrap these very well. Oh no, this is going to be a nice easy one to do. Okay. So that's our blade, and can you just see the actual blade coming out there? And it stays nice and popped in, and this is what determines the blade depth, is these numbers around the top. So 1 is very little blade and 6 is lots of blade. And the next thing we need to do is on the actual blade holder here, there's a little screw, so we just want to undo that, and that's anti-clockwise. Now you don't need to take it off, you just need to do it till it's loose enough to move, because it's like a little arm that's holding this in place, and when we take this out you'll see. So then all you do, if I keep my hands out the way, you're just pulling that across, and can you see that little metal bar? And that's what's holding these two together, and then you can just open that up. If I take that out, you'll then be able to see it's like a little well, holder. Let me show you from a different angle. So you can see the shape now, so that's where your blade goes in there, and this then just knocks across there and you tighten it, and that holds the blade in place. So that hopefully makes a little bit more sense from that angle. Okay, so now we're going to actually put the blade in to the blade housing. When you're putting your blade in, you want to have this little arrow facing the front. That's really important. And the other thing is that the arm of the blade housing is to go around this top fat section rather than the skinny section at the bottom. So just pop your blade in position, pop your arm around, and then bring the little screw round to the front, and then turning clockwise, just tighten it up. Now if you haven't got this quite in the right place, say you put it in like that, you can now turn it if you need to, and it's not like millimetre perfect, but just, you know, good enough close. And then just tighten this screw until it's tight enough to hold it secure, but not so tight that it's just ridiculous and you're never going to get it undone. Okay, so that is our blade put in, and that's, as you can see, is a nice simple thing to do. So we've done this page here up to step 6. Now we're doing 7, and what it's telling us is to basically connect the power. So that, again, nice and simple. So what you get, as I showed you on the previous video, is you get your power cord with the plug, and then you get your adapter thing with the end that connects to the actual Cricut Mini. So the first thing we want to do is connect these two together. So taking the one with the plug and then the adapter and popping that in nice and firm. The next thing is, if you've got any protective anything over your plug, just remove that, obviously for safety. And then we can connect this to the power and this to our Mini to connect this end to the power. So I'm just going to go around and connect that to power. Okay, I don't know if you can see there's the little green light has now come on, so that tells you that your adapter plug is actually connected, so you've got power running through this. I would recommend that when you're not using your Cricut machines, that you actually unplug it from the wall or switch off the power so that this light goes off. These can get quite warm, and it is better and safer to turn them off. And it's not just the Cricut ones, it's any, I'm not just talking about Cricut, I'm talking generally. Anything like this, they recommend, fire services, etc., recommend that you should always switch off any power things like this because they do get warm. We need to plug our actual power, the other end, into the Mini. Okay, so in the back of the Mini you can see there are two sockets. One is labelled for the USB and one is labelled for power. So, and it's obvious because of the shape as well. So then just pop that in carefully, like so. And that is literally all you need to do for connecting the power. Now while we've got it this way round, let's just go back to our booklet, and what it says is quite strongly, stop, do not connect the USB cord at this point or until prompted. So we're not going to do that yet either. Okay, so that would be the USB port. So when I say I'm connecting the USB port, you all know that that's what I'm referring to. Okay, so that is everything on our Cricut Mini now connected. So the next step is going to the computer and sorting that end of things out so that we can connect the Mini to the Cricut design, Cricut craft room, I beg your pardon. So we're going to go off there next and do that part.